What's up, guys? Welcome back to the review space, and this is going to be my Monday Night Raw recap and review for Monday Night Raw last night, 26th of December 2011, the final Raw of the year. It should be the final Raw, right? Yes, indeed. Okay, so let's begin. Alright, so the show begins with CM Punk's music playing. And we all thought it was going to be CM Punk. It's at CM Punk's hometown, Chicago, Chi-Town. And CM Punk comes out. But no, it's not CM Punk. It's Johnny LAURENAITIS. John LAURENAITIS, the interim GM of Raw, a.k.a. Johnny Ace, with his CM Punk t-shirt and his music playing. And the crowd obviously despises this, booing them. Oh, boo, boo. You know, it's not CM Punk. It's John Ace, the most hated GM in recent memory. And with a really annoying voice. I really can't stand Johnny Ace's voice. It's horrible, it's terrible, he's awful on the mic, he has no mic presence, he's got no charisma. He sounds like this, sounds like he's running out of breath, and there's something wrong with his throat. I can't talk properly. Oh my goodness, that is very irritating. Absolutely no mic skills. Oh, awful. Anyway, the real CM Punk comes out, okay, and they have a confrontation, kind of in the ring, and they have a little interaction back and forth. And then Johnny Ace announces that there's going to be a three-man gauntlet, and basically CM Punk has to face three people in a row as the main event. And if somehow CM Punk manages to defeat these three men, Johnny Ace will be the fourth opponent, so it's basically going to be four people if CM Punk manages to beat the initial three. So he gets Johnny Ace, and everybody is like, oh yeah, definitely, okay. You know what I mean? There's a chance that Johnny Ace will get his butt whooped and handed to him by CM Punk, as many people would like to see. But anybody, though, here's the catch, is that anybody who pins CM Punk, so whoever it is in that three-man gauntlet, his opponent, they get the WWE title shot. So if CM Punk loses to any of these men, that particular person will get a WWE shot next week, on the very first episode of year 2012 of first episode of Raw. All right, so first initial match of the night is Booker T against Cody Rhodes. I don't know about this match. I don't know why Booker Tizzle got to battle Cody Rizzle again. Why? Why is there a rubber match? Why is there another match? I don't understand. Where's the build-up in this? I understand it's a continuing story, but why does this feel like it's an unnecessary match? Because Booker T distracted Cody on the previous episode of SmackDown, thus causing Cody to lose the match against, I believe it was ZACK Ryder. Here's the problem. Booker T defeats Cody Rhodes. Okay, so Booker T scores a pinfall, and at the end he does his little spinneroonie, and you know, it's fun for nostalgic purposes. And Booker T, he looks like he's at least, you know, not a regular wrestler, but he's wrestling occasionally. I don't know where the end for this feud is. Is it even still a feud? Why are they still continuing with this? I thought that Cody had the last laugh. I mean, Cody should have the last laugh. He should really vanquish Booker T once and for all. Booker T is there to put over Cody. There is really no draw to Booker. I mean, there's no reason for him to kind of be winning and beating Cody, the younger star, a future world champion. Why is Cody losing to older Booker T, past his prime Booker T? Now, granted, Booker T can still go, but I just don't know why Booker T has to beat Cody on this episode of Raw. You know, maybe they kind of dismiss this win. You know, maybe it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, Booker T has won. You know, he has won over Cody, and it's just one. But there's really no reason for this particular match to begin with anyway. I think that Cody should be branching out into other feuds and moving on with his career. Okay, next up, we have a Cena and ZACK Ryder segment backstage, and I thought it was a pretty good interaction. I like the fact that Cena was like, oh, Ryder, you deserved it. You earned it. You worked for it. And you definitely deserve it. You deserve the U.S. Championship, and you're basically, the success you're having now is all because of you and your effort and the work you're putting in. And Ryder's very thankful for Cena, and so both of them have a good mutual relationship. It's very friendly, and there's definitely a good chemistry there where it feels almost like Ryder is almost Cena's protege. There's almost like a mentor type thing where Ryder is like the young boy, and he's kind of just like, he looks up to Cena, he respects Cena, and Cena sort of gave him that opportunity. So I think it's a good interaction between the two, and one of these days they'll probably have a feud or a match, and it's going to be interesting, and it'll be very, very fun to see, because Ryder is good inside the ring, and Cena draws enough heat as much as the very well over guy. So they have a pretty good segment. And what else we have? Ryder and Eve. Okay, so Zack Ryder and Eve have a match against Natalya and Tyson Kidd. It's been a while since we've seen Tyson Kidd. Okay, I mean Tyson. Really the only main reason I think the main reason why Tyson Kidd was on Raw tonight was because of Natalya. She probably requested Tyson or something like that. They are a couple, as I understand. They are a real-life off-screen pairing. They are going out, as they say. Zack Ryder and Eve end up taking this win. They scored a win over Natalya and Tyson Kidd, and the two baby faces they end up celebrating in the ring, and it was all right. I mean, you know what I mean. I'm not a huge Eve fan. She's good inside the ring, but I'm not a big fan of hers. And Natalya, I like better. She's a more likable diva for me. I just like her better in ring, and she seems to have more of a charisma. Eve is pretty good, but I just don't see her. She's kind of like a Barbie doll for me. A generic Barbie type. She is pretty decent again in the ring, and Zack Ryder was really the main focus of that particular match. He's great, and it's just a good way to showcase Zack Ryder. Alright, so next up we have Cena. Okay, so Cena gets a segment. He goes inside the ring. He tries to call out Kane and tries to address the Kane situation. However, he is interrupted by The Miz, who is still awesome. Oh yeah! And then they have a good interaction. Miz going back and forth with Cena, and there's a lot of there was actually people start chanting Cena sucks, let's go Cena, Cena sucks, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. And Miz was like, you know what, you guys are chanting for the wrong, and he was addressing the crowd, and he's like, you're chanting the wrong person's name, and all that stuff. And then the segment seemed to focus more on the Miz, because he's holding the microphone, and then we hear the music. The truth shall set you free. Ta-da, ta-da. R-Truth returns. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. R-Truth comes back and beats on the Miz. That's right. He attacks, assaults, beats down, lays the smack down on the Miz. And it was a very, very good beatdown, because R-Truth is back, and he came across as kind of, his kind of a heelish persona. I think that the crowd itself didn't really react, as they were almost confused and didn't know how to react to R-Truth. It was almost like, oh, is he still a heel? They were just unsure of how to react to him. He still felt like a heel, a bad guy, a villain. And so they didn't necessarily cheer R-Truth. As a matter of fact, they were saying what when R-Truth was cutting his promo. And he would talk about how, you know what I hate about Christmas presents is when you open it, it's over. And that was it. And then, the crowd just seemed like they were unsure of how to react to R-Truth. But I'm still glad that R-Truth is a heel. He still comes across as a... I get the feeling this is a heel versus heel type of situation, instead of R-Truth completely turning face. I don't think he turned face at all. I think he wanted to retaliate on Miz for putting him out for about a month. Alright, so R-Truth is back. Okay, so next up we have, Big Show versus David Otunga, and apparently Big Show has agreed to have the match with one hand tied behind his back, as he had boasted that he can beat Otunga with one hand tied behind his back. Now, this match, it looked like it was... Otunga didn't look too bad in this match. It's just that Big Show was still clearly the crowd favorite here. In the middle of this match, Mark Henry interferes. So, Mark Henry coming in and actually attacking Big Show. And, of course, with Big Show's hand tied behind his back, he couldn't properly defend himself. Which I thought was, okay, yeah, it's kind of good that they're still continuing with this Henry versus Show deal, and there's this SmackDown consistency. I appreciate that. But then, guess who comes out? Daniel Bryan. He comes out and distracts the big Mark Henry, and Mark Henry's just like, oh snap, and he tries to get at him, but Daniel Bryan, he starts moving away from the ring, and then Big Show, he grabs Mark Henry by the throat. Looks like he's about to chokeslam him, but no, he lets go. Instead, he goes after Otunga, chokeslams Otunga, and Big Show comes out looking strong. And he actually won the match via disqualification. And so this further perpetuates the whole Daniel Bryan, Mark Henry, Big Show thing. Here's the thing with me. Daniel Bryan still doesn't come across as a very convincing kind of champion, where he just seems like he's there. Daniel Bryan, he has the belt, but the crowd barely reacted to him. Even when he came out and, you know, oh my gosh, he's got the world championship. Here's Daniel Bryan. The crowd, this Chicago crowd, just didn't seem to care too much about Daniel, and they just didn't seem to care too much about him. So, unfortunately, as the weeks go by, we're starting to see this Jack Swagger type of heat that I am afraid for Daniel Bryan, that he's going to end up losing this championship very soon, and then he's going to be pushed back to mid-card, and it's going to be very, very short-lived, this whole championship thing. Moving on. Okay, so we have a segment with Alberto Del Rio in a wheelchair. He's talking about how blah, 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 and I was put out, and, you know, really, it was kind of a forgettable moment. The Bella Twins came out, and they were initially supposed to be supportive of Alberto, but then they ended up bickering and arguing, and so Alberto was like, enough, you two get out of here. And then Alberto just seemed to be this very decrepit, seething guy in a wheelchair. It just makes it more interesting, I think. It's kind of makes him kind of look... It does make him look a little bit weak that he's in a wheelchair, but it sort of adds something to his character, where he's not just this guy who cuts out a promo, and he cuts the same type of WWE style segment promo where he's just talking about himself, and then he's you know, the same promo over and over again. At least he's in a wheelchair this time. You know, why is he in a wheelchair? I don't even know. I don't even remember why Alberto's in a wheelchair. And honestly, I don't really even care why he's in a wheelchair, but it does make him look interesting. It kind of reminds me of when Ric Flair was in a wheelchair in TNA. You know, it just sort of adds that miserable heel, pathetic heel, you know, character. It's almost sympathetic. You know, you kind of sympathize with his character, like, man, this guy deserves something. You know, he deserves something. Okay. Now, what do we have? Okay, so now we have the main event. CM Punk in this the three-man gauntlet. Right, so he beats Jack Swagger. You know, Jack Swagger's the first person he faces. It was an okay match, really. You know, kind of a fast-paced match, and Jack Swagger is always good inside the ring. I always enjoy Jack Swagger's performance. He's a good wrestler. And then he beats, you know, Jack Swagger. CM Punk gets the first victory, but Dolph Ziggler comes out. He's the second man to face CM Punk. Alright, so here things get interesting. Johnny Laurinaitis, he starts cutting a promo actually in the middle of this match, just at ringside, and he's distracting the referee. He's deliberately distracting the ref, and you can easily tell, you know, this guy is just completely antagonizing CM Punk. So, CM Punk could not get the referee's attention. He couldn't get the pinfall, and Dolph gets the finishing. He hits the finishing move, the zigzag on CM Punk, and surprisingly, 1, 2, 3, gets a pinfall and wins over Punk. It was a very surprising win, but a very, very good win for me, because here you have CM Punk getting pinned by Dolph Ziggler. And Dolph Ziggler was a former U.S. champion, and it looks like, man, now he is getting pushed. He now may have a chance of becoming a champion, a world champion, WWE champion. Very, very interesting. As a matter of fact, Dolph Ziggler, at the end of this, he grabs the WWE championship, CM Punk's belt, and he takes it. backstage, and he poses with it, and he's parading around with a belt, and you know it was a good photo op. You know, I felt that it was a good photo opportunity for people to have a chance to capture Dolph Ziggler on footage with the WWE Championship. Here's my problem though. Usually, whenever they have a wrestler who is the #1 contender, because right now Dolph is the #1 contender after beating Punk, when he grabs the championship, he's not the champion yet, but when he grabs it and he starts posing with it, he starts showing the crowd, he starts holding it high over his head as if to say, "Here, I am, you know, I'm the next champion, yeah!" And for people to start taking photos and stuff like that, that usually indicates he's not going to win. He's not going to become champion. It just, that photo op itself, that segment itself, where he's holding the belt, he's not the champion, but he's the #1 contender. That indicates that that's the only time he's really going to hold that belt. So it gives that initial moment for people to, you know, take a photo of him with the belt. So he's not, chances are he's not going to beat CM Punk next week at all. That's my prediction right there. But they will be having a match next week, Dolph Ziggler against CM Punk for the WWE Championship. Okay. Right, end of final moment, the final segment of the night. Kane comes out. Alright, so masked Kane and everything. Kane comes out and he calls out John Cena. Why did he attack John Cena? What's going on? We need some explanations. Kane, you got some splaining to do. So Cena comes out with his music. Dun, 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 dun. But then he looks like he's about to head down the ramp. But then boom! The pyro goes off. And then Kane, in the middle of the ring, he grabs the microphone and he goes, "Cena, wait! I'm not here to confront you. I'm here to tell you." And then he goes on, he cuts a promo, a very good promo, might I add, about Cena. And Cena's attitude and Cena's ways of this whole Stop the Hate and this little Stop the Hate campaign. And Kane focusing on this whole image of John Cena and how Cena approaches the ring and his style and the way he interacts with the fans. And he brought up the fans, and Kane goes, "You know what, Cena? You gotta embrace the hate. You gotta embrace the hate, and that's how you thrive." And Kane basically goes on about how Cena has to embrace the hate. This entire segment was all about Kane tempting, suggesting, trying to convince John Cena to turn heel, to turn into a villain, into a bad guy. This entire thing, Kane has become almost like he's the evil devil who is trying to lure John Cena, who's been a babyface for how many years now. He's trying to lure Cena, tempt Cena into turning against the fans, into turning and becoming a full heel, a real villain, a real bad guy, and to finally say screw you to the fans who's been saying Cena sucks all this time. And that was it. That was the end of the segment with the crowd chanting very loudly, some saying Cena sucks, people just making noise, booing, whether they were booing Cena or booing Kane. But rest assured, at the end of this segment, it was very compelling. Cena looked like he was conflicted, and he was giving it thought, and he was actually listening what Kane had to say. Is this a future possibility, a sign of things to come in the E? Will Cena turn heel? How close is it that he will turn heel? Will it be at the Royal Rumble? Will it be right before WrestleMania? Will he ever actually turn heel? Or will he stay as this tweener, this half-cheered, half-booed babyface that the WWE has marketed towards us for the past 6-7 years now? Well, only time will tell, but in my opinion, I think Kane will ultimately turn John Cena heel. And this will be a very, very memorable occasion. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it should happen. Because Cena could use this breath of fresh air. Kane is going to be that trigger. Kane can be that facilitator. So, that's it for this review of Monday Night Raw 26/12/11, the final Raw of the year 2011. And let me know what you guys thought of this particular Raw. Let me know what you thought of this. What will happen? What's going to happen to Cena? How do you think Cena's going to turn heel? What will happen between Kane and Cena? How did you feel about R-Truth coming back? How did you feel about the whole night? You know, what happened? You know what I mean? Let me know what you guys thought of this. So that's it for this episode of The Review Space. Make sure you check out the rest of the channel. Comment, rate, subscribe. And until next time, ciao!